On Friday, Fox News highlighted the story of a biological girl whose family encouraged her to transition to a boy starting from the age of 5. In fact, the mother saying that before the girl could even talk, she was communicating that she wanted to be a boy. Well, and Fox praised the family's extraordinary courage. Now, I've been warning you of Fox's own transition from a conservative news organization to just another cable news network. Now, the question is their transition complete, or can we expect more of the left's propaganda from Fox, who now has Caitlyn Jenner as a paid Fox contributor? Now, here's a clip from this program on Friday related to this transgendering young girl.
We thought that gender and sexuality were the same thing. It took us a while to figure out that those two things are different and that children actually do recognize their gender identity very young.
Well, joining me now to talk about this is Allie Beth Stuckey, host of Relatable on BlazeTV and author of You're Not Enough, and That's Okay, Escaping the Toxic Culture of Self-Love. Allie, welcome back to Washington Watch.
Thanks so much for having me.
Now, of course, in this, the mother there rolling this into her faith, saying that, God made us and we're just being who we are. Well, it looks like they need a little assistance if that's the case here, like hormone suppression. We need surgical. And this is a real stretch, but Fox gave them a complete flat platform, never questioned it a bit. What do you think?
Yes, they fully pushed the propaganda. The most egregious portion of the propaganda, I think, was when the reporter, whose name is Brian Yanes, he said on Twitter, that he was proud of this segment. And one thing that he repeated that the mom apparently said was that she would rather have a living son than a dead daughter. And obviously the inference there is that if she did not accept her child's so-called gender identity, then her child would have committed suicide. This is total and complete propaganda. There is no statistic. There is no data backing this up. In fact, we know that transitioning so-called a child, a teenager, an adolescent, not only doesn't actually alleviate their feelings of distress or their mental anxiety that they are dealing with, but many times it exacerbates it. It actually leads to the very suicide that pro-trans advocates say that they are trying to prevent. And for Fox News to completely uncritically regurgitate this kind of propaganda when we have seen the damage that it is doing to young lives, I knew, as you did, that they were liberal socially and certainly going in that direction. This was beyond what I imagined they would go at this point.
Well, you make a really good point, Allie, that they were just kind of regurgitating the left's talking points on this, because if you actually look at the studies, the statistics, you have in a neighborhood of 80% plus, between 80 and 90% of young people who have these have gender dysphoria. If you leave them alone and just encourage them in the natural process, they end up, everything's in alignment. They come through this fine. But here's part of the problem, is that you have this social media contagion that is planting these seeds in the minds of kids, and then you're blocking them from getting any type of counseling, and then you hear this type of garbage here on Fox News, which so many people have come to rely upon as a source of conservative, if you will, news.
Yes. And look, Fox News has an important place, or it has had an important place in conservative media, even if they haven't aligned with everything that you and I think socially. At least I think a lot of conservatives think they are not just, repeating the propaganda that you're seeing on MSNBC or CNN. But if this is the direction that they are going to go, which is literally the most radical form of wickedness, gender ideology that is being imposed on small children, as you mentioned, the mom said before this child could talk. So we're talking about a baby? What we're talking about before this child, she was 1 year old, and Fox News is pushing this. Then really conservatives feel like, at least in the mainstream legacy media, they truly have know where to go. We thought at least they would not go this far, but they have just slid all the way down the slippery slope. They're now at the bottom. I don't see how they come back from this.
Well, I mean, Allie, their defense may be that they're identifying as a conservative news outlet.
Right. They're identifying as it, and I guess we can just change the meanings of words as they see fit. That's probably right. That will probably be their defense.
But in seriousness, this is a danger for children, and parents are actually looking for sources of information, and they checked several of the boxes. They threw out statistics or these studies which were not true. They talked about faith. This was for conservatives, Fox has been a safe place. I mean, this is extremely dangerous.
I think, I know that they chose this particular family for the reasons that you just listed, because a lot of conservatives are used to kind of seeing the blue-haired liberals that maybe they see on libs of TikTok saying crazy things about indoctrinating preschoolers. I think Fox News was very specific, very strategic, and the family that they chose, they look like a very normal working class family that probably looks like a lot of families that watch Fox News. And the fact that she invoked her faith, that she's a Christian, and so that's why somehow she believes that she's transitioned her child. I think that they were trying to relate to people. They were trying to change people's minds. They were trying to get conservative viewers to think, well, maybe this isn't so crazy. That is really nefarious.
And Allie, it would be one thing if there was a follow-up debate and discussion on this, but we don't even debate these things. No one. They're like MSNBC and CNN. They won't debate this. Now Fox is in the same category. They won't allow any of this ideology to be questioned. Allie, up against a break. Always great to have you on. Thanks so much for the work you do.
Thank you so much. Thank you.